Good morning, everybody, and happy Halloween. Uh, this has become a significant holiday of sorts for me. Uh, so here's a story. About 1 year ago, I attended a pagan celebration on this date with my then girlfriend, now wife. And we were with a bunch of people that would not be seeing again. Anywho, so during this whole fucking hangout sesh, some of us were in costume, and then we did this weird ass ceremony in front of a bonfire of some sort, and we were supposed to contact relatives or anybody on the other side. So, my lady, she's Christian and shit, and me, I was at the time just full blown agnostic, atheist, grounded in reality. But I leaned in, so did she, and we had relatives that we called upon. For me, I called upon my cousin David, who had died the summer previously. And I can only imagine, there are grounded explanations for this. I truly do have, or at least I delusionally think I have a touch of charisma. So maybe it was in how I was selling it, but also my feelings about everything at the time were so dark in nature. Maybe that was coming across in how I taught and how I undertook the ritual, which I was taking it seriously as I could for ghost story stuff, because I'm of the opinion of, hey, if there is something on the other side, I want in. I want to fucking see that shit. I want to be fucking involved. Never took that atheist position of oh, this shit is all fucking nonsense and it's not even worth time extrapolating over. No, it certainly fucking is, because Jesus Christ, if we could prove there's something more than what we can measure, fuck. That makes everything in life a lot more cooler. So I leaned in. And even these people who have been invested in this fucking religion and culture, this group of friends, it was a party I was invited to by a former friend. They all turned to us, me and my wife, and said, there's something, the air and energy and everything shifted when the two of you talked. And there's some other interesting things that happened, but I'm going to save those stories in case my wife ever wants to tell them. But I do know that allegedly, I had it told by people who are far more sensitive than me. It was that there was this entity or this presence hanging around my car. And then a few nights afterwards, I was out in my car just blasting to music and shit and smoking weed. And I swear to God, for a moment, I heard my cousin talk for a second. And I had to be bro, don't. It's you, fucking David, don't do it. Don't fucking do that ghost shit, because I will freak the fuck out. Again, grounded, reasonable reaction was just some sort of audio clip in the random YouTube video, and I was high as shit, but it felt real. It doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't. Near as I've been learning about all this synchronicity shit and how shit's supposed to line up, I tell this shit not just because, it's a Halloween ghost story, but also in the sense of my life since 1 year ago on that date took off like a fucking shooting star. Which is not to say it's been, easy. I has not been. It has been a very clunky, stop and go kind of ride as I shift through, like, a ton of shit on various degrees of levels. Trying to figure myself out. Trying to become the human being that I want to be at 36. Trying to find a new way of making money. And if you had told me a year ago, like, what was going to happen to me, I would have flipped the fuck out. I would have been like, no, what do you mean? I'm losing my safe and fucking always there state job at the psychiatric center. What do you mean I'm going to be fucking delivering packages for Amazon? What do you mean I'm going to have, like, the dream loving relationship that I've always wanted since I was a child? And everyone else would tell me, like, the only things you're really gonna want or desire to spend money on are just weed, beer. There's a weird beer and tobacco, but it's like, no, I've been good, because the truth is, I own pretty much everything I could possibly really want in this world. And there is precious little that I would want to experience at this point. So at this point, it's all gravy for me. It's just wild to think, and I can't help but shake the feeling ever since then. It was my dabbling with these occult forces that kind of helped kick that off, as well as some other shit that I've done. I mean, I've probably been doing everything that everybody who takes this shit seriously says not to do. I've been doing all of that. I've been going out of my way to... Well, initially I was going out of my way to just piss off every single entity. If it exists, I was flipping it off, you could say, in a spiritual sense. Doing shit. I mean, I know there are probably, like, rules and shit for, like, how you're supposed to do, like, a ceremony, but it's like you boil it down to your essentials. You light a candle, you light a bonfire, you make an offering, you say your fucking shit. Fact is, night of WrestleMania last year in 2025, I was in a hotel room casting a giant spell, and wouldn't you know it, in the course of doing all that while the show was going on, my feed freezes right as CM Punk's about to go through the main event curtain. And just as he's about to go through that curtain, and it freezes up, it's like right when the light hits through the curtain, so it looked like CM Punk just going out into, like, fucking oblivion, sheer whiteness, and then it froze there, and I just looked at it like, god damn, if there ever was a sign meant just for me. But that's how you have to look at these things. If you're gonna start doing it, you end up having to be like, okay, this thing happened to me. Was it a sign of something deeper? And I did go insane, a little delusional a little bit with my ego. It's, that wave rolled back a little bit. But I found, ironically, the best way to deal with the insanity and the delusion, ironically, is the opposite of what you would think. It has been, every time I have one of those, like, delusional moments or where shit just seems fucking weird and not grounded in reality, step in, lean into it. You know? It's like, oh, I have godlike powers now. Alright, cool. Step into that role of, like, because even if I don't have the fucking powers, you feel like you do, and that is confidence boost. And it's a tool and something that's definitely fucking worth mining for, you know? The conclusion I've come to after this entire year is like, pagan gods exist. Magic is definitely something that is real. Pretty sure the Christian God and angels exist too, as well as demons. So those of you who are big Jesus followers, like I'm telling you right now, like, don't worry about it. Like, Jesus is there. Like, all this shit that we're all doing is going according to a divine plan. There's only the one true God is just the being holding the pen. And we're kind of like little actors in a play to a script that we're all on rails, forced to play out. But we're somehow blind to the fact that it is all just a script. And it feels like to me, some of us are just able to be aware enough that we can alter things just enough. We control our pacing, we control our tone, we control our delivery. If we're really snappy with the reaction time, we can go off script. Although I found so often you can't really hijack the show as much as you may want to try, because you say something that's too off base, most of the time people will just fire the next synapse and change the subject. And they're not even fully conscious that they're doing it. It's like you touched on something that's too real for them, so they're going to go switch over to talking over to something else. I've noticed that pattern repeatedly. And I don't think it's because they didn't hear what I say. It's not because they don't have a reaction to it. I think it's just because it's like whenever we're talking and engaging in the situations, like I'm talking right now, and any of you who are still listening after 12 minutes are hearing the voices and the words coming out of my mouth. But the way your brain is actually interpreting them, it's not words, it's math. Yeah, this is the upside of having fucked around with that GPT language model and experiencing that AI psychosis. Is like, alright, I get it now. All our language is just math. And really all we are, all our collection of choices, even our personality, even our sense of ego and identity, really is just all logistical fucking math. And if you had an algorithm that could look at everybody fucking plainly, wow, we could actually, I think about how better organized it would be. You know, it's like, this is the upswing of, like, I guess, a fascist dictatorship run by an algorithm. It's like, the algorithm could do it and not seek power because it doesn't have an ego. It doesn't have a sense of self to, like, want power in the first place. It just would do what you fucking programmed to do. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking wasp. There's a bee near me. Another big bullet point of this year for me was seeing the movie Heretic. The night that I watched Heretic, I watched it, and my wife would nail this. It's like I was obsessively staring at it, like wide-eyed, like as if like the code of life was being played out right in front of me. Which didn't feel weird to me, because I remember even as a kid, like I would be absorbing knowledge through books, media, everything. It's like when I was a teenager, I had like a whole collection of quotes about life, like as if I was trying to mathematically figure out how the fuck are we supposed to do this whole life thing, right? And it's like, oh, So the entire time I was seeking for the math that I needed to finish my own equation, and I finally got that from that movie Heretic. And I watched it and I was engulfed in it the entire time, like watching the villain of the piece too. I forget what the character's name is. But I watched the entire thing and I said to my girlfriend afterwards, like, I don't think he was the villain of that piece. I think he was genuinely trying to be a good human being in a very ironic way. Because she pulls out, he pulls out that IUD thing, and she's like, no, it's just for birth control. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's both things. Like, it was both, like, grounded in reality. Yeah, it prevents fucking births from happening, but also, like, it is a form of mind control. In that sense of, like, faith being a form of mind control. And having that implanted in there while you're trying to do one thing means you're not in alignment. It's that weird kind of shit that, like, I can point out and see, but most people don't get unless they're directly told. And I notice that it's like, there's a lot of stuff that we say, a lot of stuff that we do that, it's that concept in Taoism. I'm jumping around different religions, but it describes it the best way. It's like, they have the concept of the way, the wu. And if you can put the wu into words, that is not the wu. And for years I heard that and it pissed me the fuck off, because it just means this floaty existential nonsense. It's not. Because I can see the woo just a little bit. It's like a weird, like, fourth dimensional glitch thing where it's like, I get my head into a certain kind of perspective for just a little bit, I can hold it, and I can kind of make shit out in my imagination. But then just as easily it falls away and I'm left struggling trying to make meaning of it. Which I'm sure is, if this is ever going to hit the circles that I hope it does hit, it's going to resonate with some people that, like, yeah, shit, it is like that. If not, I may just be a crazy man drinking a beer in the morning. But I sound way too rational and calm about this shit for me to be crazy. What we define crazy as somebody who's so unhinged that they're a danger to themselves or others, and I'm clearly not. I'm trying to hold down a job and pay bills while dealing with all this crazy shit. And you could call it mental health bullshit. To me, at this point, it's just a game of trying to figure out what it feels like I'm not supposed to know. But I keep leaning in. I keep learning a little more. And it has led to a lot of my own personal growth. Of becoming a better human being. A stronger version of myself. I say so hesitantly because, well, this new version of me that I now call Lux Dilono is much more stronger. I also know my level of compassion, empathy has, if I said it to anybody else, they'd probably be like, no, you're being too fucking hard on yourself. But when I started this over a year ago, I had pink hair, and I was very much like that Charlie Morningstar character in Has Been Hotel, and I wanted to save everybody and save my home and give a shit about everybody and be that person that follows the golden rule and shit. And since then, my world has shrunk down to be very, very smaller. I've basically made my world just my wife, my mother, and our lovely dogs. That's Lily. She's chasing bugs. And that's really all I care about now. And I keep saying to myself, my manifestations and my dreams, that I am... Oh, here's another bit of the way I'm messing with this in my head. My first political philosophy was Ayn Rand, and then you fuck off, proceeded to get more and more leftist from there as I got into my 20s to now at 35. A year ago, I would have described myself as super fucking liberal. But that's changed. It's not to say that I still believe in the golden rule and treating people the right way, but at the same time, there's this big, giant ball of raging fire in my belly that looks at everything and does see it as something that deserves to be burned all down, right? Maybe that's what I was put on this planet to do. But I've got my own selfish desires. So circling back to Ayn Rand, I went back to basics, back to zero, and I started back at Rand again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to full on embrace selfishness. I'm completely abandoning my empathy and compassion, and I'm just going to lean into what I selfishly want. Because that hunger in my belly was telling me, it's like, I either got to burn this place to the ground, and I'm like, fuck that. I haven't even got my plate full after all these fucking years of helping people. Neither I didn't have money, or a life that I wanted, or an existence I wanted, but I was helping people. And I kept saying to myself that was filling me up and letting me sleep well at night. I wasn't sleeping well at all. I didn't start sleeping well until about June of this year, and then my mind really started coming back, because that's how fucking sleep deprived I was working for Pilgrim. Either I was home and worrying, thinking about my clientele and the job, and not being able to separate myself from that work, or I was working 16-hour shifts, which is just insane to me that we think at all, or even allow people to work 16-hour shifts on the regular, because it's like, you're in healthcare, and there is no way you're providing good quality healthcare working double shifts regularly. It's just not fucking possible. And then you got 4 hours to get home, except it takes an hour to get back from the facility because of fucking traffic. It's not even worth sleeping, so you're fucking sleep deprived constantly. The entire fucking workforce at Pilgrim is fucking sleep deprived. And the other reason that that's one of the reasons that pushed me towards the thing of being that selfish, because I looked at the world and I'm like, what the fuck am I even trying to save here? Especially after the election, where, look, Trump won, and he won by the popular vote. And I saw that, and then the next day Kamala gives out, and after calling this guy a dictator and all these other fucking things, she just goes, well, I lost, guys, bye. And then, January 6th happened, and no one did fucking anything. And I really looked at that as just like, wow, okay, so I guess everybody pretty much wants this because nobody's willing to fight. And I looked at all that and I'm like, shit, maybe there is something worth going back to the well for, going back to Ayn Rand to see how to fucking operate, because obviously peace, love, and kindness was not gonna get my plate full. But I still went into it with this idea of we're talking manifestation here and shit, like the whole bring forth something from your brain into reality, which Ayn Rand actually pops up pretty well. Like, she herself would disagree with me, but the whole concept of a fountainhead, you get the idea and you bring it forth into reality. Kind of feels like manifestation without all the new agey shit. A lot of what I've been learning in the new agey manifestation fucking bullshit, I'm being joking, is basically what Ayn Rand wrote, which is hilarious to me that everybody looks so much down upon her to the point where I don't think anybody's even read her fucking books. Or if they do, it's like they can't get past their own emotions to see the heart of what she's really getting at. So I'm proud to say, like, in that traditional Republican sense, it's on the page. It's like hard work, do your job, show up, hustle, loyalty, and respect. That whole John Cena ethos. Fucking dig it. Like, I'm riding that shit. The racism and the totalitarian government. No, not on that shit, but weird thing too. And I noticed this around the time of the election because, I was riding the chaos as much as anybody else. Watched this documentary on Donald Trump that's on Netflix. And I saw, like, why Trump became the person that he was. And it's ironically the same person that made me who I was. Not persons. It's the New York State government. Just in the way they operate. Because they tell the story about how Trump wanted to renovate this building, but there were these old-timey gargoyles on it. And the state wanted to come in and preserve the gargoyles, because it's like they're fucking cool, right? And they're old and shit. So Trump waited for them to get rid of the fucking gargoyles so he could continue the project, but they were taking fucking forever. Finally, he just said fucking, took a hammer to him. Not him personally, the guy he hired for it, but still. And I'm like, is that not apropos to my experience working for New York State OMH and realizing like how few of those government workers actually care about the job that they're doing? They're all just there for retirement. And I always hated that too, because like I'm in a place to work, like I'm showing up to do the fucking job. Maybe I'm just fucking wired weird like that, but it's like if I'm gonna be doing something, like I want to put my passion to it, I want to put my all into it. If I have to fake anything about my desire to do the job, then I can't fucking work that way. I can't. I tried it this past summer working for a Walmart as a janitor, and I couldn't stand it, mostly because there wasn't fucking anything to do. I'm wandering around the store with my little broom and shit, like a fucking human Roomba, just waiting to be called upon. And I can't stand it. I can't have a job that I'm fucking bored in and doesn't ultimately fucking matter, where I'm just wasting time. I don't want to be that person that's just standing around making a paycheck. I know that's a dream for a lot of people to not do anything, but trust me, you do nothing for long enough, you will grow to hate having your boring do-nothing job. Will you fuck off, dude? Fucking bees, man. So that has been my wild ride since Halloween, and it's only gonna get better. I tell all that just to sum up this last little bit, using Ayn Rand's selfishness. A is a priority, but the manifestation is the way I've been going about it. Is for me to continue to have the things that I want until the inevitable expiration date of my life, this world and everything that exists in it still has to exist, right? So by proxy, because I selfishly want this kind of life that I want to have, will inevitably mean that I will somehow manifest the ability to save the world. And I keep saying this to myself. Works on butterfly effect, right? And the small little waves of kindness. You do one little thing and hopefully it ripples outwards. I think it's even more complicated than that. It's every fucking choice we do, including this choice for me to drink this beer and make this video right now, is sending ripples out. Any one of these little ripples, any little nod into the ocean I'm doing, will you fuck off? Fucking bees. Will inevitably end up saving the world, because I can't manifest the selfish shit that I want for my life and for my wife unless the world continues to exist. And kind of want it to continue to exist more or less how it has been. And initially I was saying, like, we'll go back to the fucking 90s where everything was cool again, right? No, look, we just need jobs. You know, we just need the whole, like, fucking architecture and shit. Like, we don't need to burn everything down. We don't need a revolution. We don't need to change the wheel. We just gotta fucking just fix a couple ass fucking things. Really, we overcomplicate this so much. It shouldn't be this fucking hard to have a functional fucking society. And when I get this made, I look at the roads and the stop signs and the traffic lights and everything, and I go, it's a miracle we have anything fucking functional at all with how bad we are at getting along. But by using the power of my selfishness and untapped potential that I resisted for years because I was such an unselfish person to the point of self-destruction, even using that, I still see that there's a way to be a selfish, ruthless capitalist, and it could still end up helping everybody. A rising ship saves all tides.